Hi, hello, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com, and today I am showing you how to make this card. It's just a simple A6 card using the fabulous Bird Banter stamp set. So this is the stamp set, Bird Banter. It's got all these lovely parrots and canaries and budgies and toucans and all those kind of things. Nearly called it a pecan then, not a pecan, a toucan. So yeah, so really nice stamp set, lots of great words on it. But I've paired it today with the Delightful Daisy papers, which you probably wouldn't at first glance think, oh yes, of course, parrots goes with Delightful Daisy. But actually the little spray of leaves there matches the little spray of leaves that they've done down here, almost perfectly in shape, and this one almost in size. So I thought, actually, do you know what, it matches quite well, and it's a different way of doing it. Old Olive is in this paper as well, but it's one of the colours that you wouldn't probably pull out. So I thought I will show you how to do this. Now, when I did this for class, we used the Stampin' Blends. Sorry, a bit noisy. We use the Stampin' Blends. These are great, so you'd use Memento ink with that, Stampin' Blends to colour in the bird, but these are currently unorderable, which is annoying, but it's just because they've been they've proved to be so popular that everybody's buying them, so that's good. But they're so popular they've run out. So I saw a little video from Gail, somebody or other in the States. She was at Janet Wakeland's retreat, and she was showing a technique using vegetable glycerin. I don't know if you can see that. Vegetable glycerin. So I thought, okay, let's give that a go. So we're going to do the same card, but this time with some vegetable glycerin and a blender pen. So you just need to pop just a little drop on there. Okay. Then I have got my cardstock, so I'll fold that in half as always. This is a European size A4 piece of cardstock, and it's been chopped in half, and that gives us an A6 size card, which is your standard size card, which is 21 centimeters by 14.9 centimeters. And then I have a piece of that Delightful Daisy. Whoopsie daisy, I've moved myself. Talk about daisies, I've moved myself completely there. Sorry about that. Let me get myself straight again. There we go, hopefully. Hope that's not going to send anybody too far over the edge. Okay, so this is the Delightful Daisy. Taken a couple of sheets of that. This one's the one, it's got that small daisies on the blue background on the back of it. So I've chopped that up, and that is 10 centimeters by 14.4, so you have a 2.5 mil edge all the way around. So you're going to pop that on, and just a bit of multi-purpose glue in each of the corners. Whiz it down, connect. I try not to put too much glue on the designer series paper, because, or actually on any of them, because you don't really need a lot. It's very strong glue, it will hold well, and you don't want it pooling and coming through the cardstock, you know, so it gets all bobbly. Whoops. But with multi-purpose you can at least squishy it around, which is what I've just done, so that's good. Okay, so that's my card base and my paper done. Next we're going to do this piece here. So obviously with the Stampin' Blends you would use your Memento ink pad, but because I'm using a blender pen and the inks, I'm going to use my Archival Black. So I'm going to just stamp that quickly first in my somewhere. I've carefully pre-done and now can't find. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the here's my squares. So this is a stitch shape. This is the largest stitched shapes framelit, largest square one. And then that's the Old Olive plain square one that matches above it from the layering squares. So I've already pre-cut those on my Big Shot. Now I'm going to just do this, and I started off with the Old Olive, and I did my happy birthday. Now, I forgot to bring my ink pad to class, so I said, oh, just use the pen. However, I didn't have my right marker out at the time, so one of my lovely ladies decided to use the Stampin' Blend Old Olive. That's what happens when you use a Stampin' Blend on your photopolymer stamps. I've washed this lots of times and it's not coming off because it's alcohol based, so it will stain your photopolymer. But don't panic, there's nothing to worry about because it doesn't actually make a jot of difference to your stamp. So make sure you got it out the right way. That always helps. It's just a little harder to see whether I've got ink on it or not, but I can see. That's okay. So now I'm going to go in and stamp that at the bottom. There we go. Just had to lean a bit closer to the camera, so I didn't want to say anything while I was too close. Otherwise I sound like I'm shouting in your ears. Okay, so then I worked up and did my branch, and I didn't use this side of it, I used this side of it, and just created a little branch. I mean, I could have done it in Old Olive, but I decided no, I'm going to do this one in black. So just a little branch there, coming off the side like that. Doesn't really look like anything at the moment, but that's okay because you're going to put your bird in next. So next, your bird sitting on the branch. There we go. And I should be using my photopolymer matte, Pierce matte for this, but so far I'm okay. I've managed to get away with it. And then the little sprig out from his beak like that. There we go. Okay, so that's all you need to do in your archival, and then I would let that dry for a minute or so because archival does take a little longer to dry because it is a wetter ink. So we'll let that dry for a bit. You can also do this if you wish and just pick up some excess. See when it's really dry. It doesn't look too bad actually. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some Old Olive ink. Make sure you have them. Make sure you've got some in the bottom. If you don't have any in the bottom, just squish the base of your. So just open it slightly, do a squish, squeeze the two bits together gently, and that should get you a pool of ink sitting in the base of your pad there. And then what I'm going to do is going to use my blender pen, and rather than going straight in, I'm going to actually take some glycerin and pop that on my base. Now I'm going to have to make sure I wipe this off before I close my ink pad because you don't want to add glycerin to your ink, but you can just add it here, take it in, and apparently you've got glycerin actually in your blender pen, and so all you're doing is you're just adding extra to that to make it slide a little bit easier, a little bit better. So then what I did was we're just going to go in, pick up more ink, and it definitely helps it glide over the paper just a little more. You have a bit more time with it to do the whole blending than you would if you were going straight in, because you know that if you go too quickly in with the blender pen, it can pill the actual cardstock. Now I'm going quite gently here because that archival is not quite dry, so I'm picking up a little bit of archival, but that's okay, I can cope with that. We'll cover that over in a minute. Okay, so then back in here doing the bird, get more ink, doing the bird. See how that's just smoothing over a lot more than it would do generally with a blender pen. It's just a little bit more, gives you a little bit more wriggle room. Okay, just be careful, as I say, of getting that archival because it is picking it up because it's not quite dry. That's the problem when you do it live on camera. It can take normally a little bit longer than this to dry, but that's okay. You're getting the idea. There we go. So I do like my blender pens, and I will always use my my ink pads like this, because I do think it's a great way of, you know, getting a more watercolory effect, if that's a technical term. Down here into the tail feathers. Got to have it so he can shake his tail feathers. Okay, and then obviously a bit darker, maybe straight in with the colour here on his beak. Okay, and maybe a bit darker up here, so you can add a bit more colour in. And it's just blending a little bit better than it would do if I was consistently just going in straight onto the cardstock normally without that added glycerin. So it's definitely adding something to my card making, and to the ability of the blender pen to blend. Okay, and then I think what I had, and you can still just take it off the same as you do normally. And I think I put some green at the top here. There we go. And I think I did some green down on his feathers. That's why I wasn't really so worried about the archival, because I did green down there on the other one. Bit of green down on his tail feathers. There we go. Okay, and then obviously green on his leaves, because we need that to be green to match with the leaves. Okay, go back in. Let's blend those a bit. Yeah, they're definitely blending nicely. Takes a little longer than if you were using obviously the Stampin' Blends. They're much quicker to use, but fairly good job of working those two together. This is a little more vibrant, this is a little paler, but I could go on adding a couple more extra layers, and you can see that it's not yet started to pill the paper really badly, which by now normally if I'd have been doing that much over and over it would have done. So that's my little bird. That's the longest part of this. Now before I close that up, I need to clean that off, so just take a bit of tissue. Just wipe that away, make sure you get all the glycerin out, because you don't want that to get back in somehow into your pad. Oh, what have we done? There we go. They do get stuck sometimes, these. Okay, take that glycerin off there. Lovely. There we go. Over and done. And then it's really just a question of assembling your card. So we're going to go back with a little birdie. I'm going to pop him on just with multi-purpose glue onto the old olive square that you've cut out to match. There we go, that's nice. And then I added some dimensionals, obviously. Got to have a few dimensionals going on just to give it some dimension, funnily enough, but it just makes him look, it just finishes the card off, I think, when you have a bit of added dimension. I'm tempted to put some more on, but I'll be good and not put too many on. I know how it upsets some of you when I chuck on loads of dimensionals. I like making sure it's secure and it's not soggy. Okay, so then you can choose where to put it. I put him last time up the top, but I might put it down here actually. Down here, or maybe just right in the middle this time, because I had him over to the edge. Maybe right in the middle this time. There we go. Make it slightly different. I like making them slightly different. Okay, and then some of the lovely, there it is. This is the sheer ribbon. This is old olive, and you get 10 meters, 10 yards, 9.1 meters in this. So we're going to tie a bow, remember, Queen Pip, over the finger, round through the hole, lovely, and then just pull your ends to adjust. and that means that you get a nice bow every time, and you can make it as big or as little as you like. So I'm going to make this a little smaller since it's going to be sitting right on the side. If I pull that one through there, it'll be at the front. There we go. Perfect. Chop it off. And this is a good way of doing it because it means that you're not taking it, you're not taking a whole strand off the reel. You're just using what you need and just losing the extra bit at the end. So now glue dot, mini glue dots are just love these, but you do need to know how to take them off. So a lot of people peel this sheet off here and go, I can't see any glue dots, there are no glue dots here, and I'm like, no, that's because they're all around the outside here. So yeah, so if you've never seen our glue dots before, they come like this, and you peel it back until you see one here. See that there? Ooh, can I get there? Like that. Okay, that's your glue dot. So you can hold that with your thumb, and that way you're not getting any other glue dots from down here stuck anywhere. I take my bow, I stick it on the glue dot, I lift it off, stick my little pokey tool behind, and then I can attach him wherever I like, and I like him there. There we go. So that is a really quick technique tip, kinda. Really quick card, bird banter, how to use vegetable glycerin to make your blending just a little bit easier with your blender pen and your ink pads if you don't have the stamping blends. So yeah, so I hope you like that. All the information is on the link below. Pop over and you'll see it either in the description below or over on my blog. It's up to you, and I'd love to see you back here again. I'll be back with another card soon, so come and see us then. Alrighty, take care now, bye.